the next slide pertains to our context, next slide, of the accreditation. So as early as in 1977, we have already a federation of accrediting agencies in the Philippines. But this was authorized by the Commission on Higher Education to certify certain levels. So in the next slide, you would see that there are several agencies. Next slide. Several agencies that we had pertaining to private institutions like the Federation, the Accrediting Agency of Chartered Colleges and Universities of the Philippines. We also have the Association of Christian Schools. So there is a separate group for that. There is also a separate group for the sectarian. But eventually it was united by this federation. So in the next slide, you would see also the similarities of the areas of survey. So as in any accreditation, these are very, very much normal. Next slide, please. So with this private accrediting bodies, we have several levels from a candidate to level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. Now, what government did was, for those programs who have attained level 1 and level 2, they will now be regulated. And for those who will be attaining level 3 and level 4, they will get autonomous. So in that way, they will get incentives. So they would get grants, particularly for research, particularly for other incentives that the government would give. However, though, even there are a lot of incentives, like next slide. Let me just show you that there are only like 38% who did the accreditation, but the 62% is still regulated by the commission. What does that mean? Even though that they don't have any accreditation at all, the Commission on Higher Education supervises them in all of their programs. So in the next slide, you would see that there are majority are in their level 2 already, and some of them are already in the level 4. So that's the highest level. In the next slide, you would see the most numbered of accredited programs. Civil engineering is the highest, and followed by the computer engineering and the mechanical engineering. So over the years,
we have 1 more minute.
Oh yeah, I'll just go through. For the past, can I just ask Dr. to yeah, for the past few years, we've been the commission has been doing a lot of regulations. So as early as 2005, we provided minimum standards. Next slide. And we provided manuals of standards and a lot of competency-based programs as early as 2008. Next slide. In 2012, we now shifted to outcomes-based. So next slide, sorry. And in 2017, we have really provided minimum guidelines for all of the programs. So you would see that we had a transition from 2005, and as early as 2012, we went from input-based to outcomes-based. So next slide. So just go through the slides. So overall, we've been doing all of this. And I would say for the past few years, we've been with the Philippine Technological Council certification and accreditation system, where this is now recognized by the Commission on Higher Education as the sole accrediting body for the engineering programs for the Washington Accord. So as you well know, we have already attained our provisional membership, and hopefully in the next few years we'll be having, or next year to come, we'll be having already our regular membership. So I think That's the last slide that we have. So over the years, we've done that changes also in the engineering education back here in the Philippines.
Thank you so much, Dr. May.
Don't plan well. You may be producing engineers who doesn't really have the human aspect